The party is still going on. One more day of celebration talking about the parade and why it's more magical than you even realize. Plus, Al Horford's sticking around. Of course he is. And why he might stick around a little longer. I'll talk about it right now on the Locked On Celtics podcast.
Thanks to Blockbuster Brand, it's holiday season, drop Drew in the mix. And 3 from KP, no we not on the Knicks. Flushing competition like Al on Giannis. Juice and Big Deuce, still Beantown's finest. Banner 18 going up in the rafters. Watch the C's game in Locked On after. Karalis on the breakdown, clutch like a tip from D. White on the breakdown. John on the mic, documenting domination. Matter pen a back bay, it's all C's nation. Rain and J's, how it started, raising banners, how we finish. Locked On Celtics pod, home of the winners. Peace.
Hey there, welcome back to the Locked On Celtics podcast, right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. I got you covered every Monday through Friday. Still going Monday through Friday through July at the very least. Still maybe even into the beginning of August because Team USA is playing. Jayson Tatum's on the team. Drew Holiday is on the team. Derrick White might be on the team. So I haven't heard anything official anyway. So anyway, I got you covered. So make sure you're subscribed wherever you get your podcasts. Watch the show on YouTube. Get in there. Get into the comment section. Let me know what you think. I'm John Karalis. Used to play a long time ago. I got to come up with a whole new intro. Each season I come up with a new intro. But I played a long time ago. Now I'm covering the Celtics as a Boston Sports Journal beat writer. And I'm also the author of Built Different, the Boston Celtics historic run to the 2024 NBA championship. It's a commemorative book. Look for it either on triumphbooks.com/CelticsWin. Use the code Celtics24 for 25% off. Or look for it in your local bookstore, supermarkets, BJ's, Sam's Club, all those places. It's going to be everywhere. Today, I still got the champagne here. I'm going to pop it at some point to celebrate the Celtics championship win and the parade. We'll talk about the business, because business is being done. Oshae Brissett opted out. I'll tell you what that means later. Al Horford is not going anywhere. I'll tell you what that means later. And then we get into the parade stuff. Jayson Tatum triggering Miami Heat fans. Triggering Miami Heat fans. Glorious. Just chef's kiss. Joel Embiid goes by Troel Embiid, but Jayson Tatum's one sentence just sent Miami into a tizzy. It was wonderful. Joe Mazzulla was the star of this parade, but let's just get into this parade magic. First of all, today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. You're listening to this on Monday. The playoffs are like done. We got one more game, a game 7 after Florida went up 3-0 in the Stanley Cup Finals. That's the last of the playoffs. But anyway, you can still continue to bet on that over at FanDuel. It's hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every day, all summer long. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started. Okay. Parade magic is my first bullet point. Why parade magic? So I was down there. It was in the arena for the pre-parade festivities, which were just kind of straightforward, business-like, nothing special, right? Except for that one line from Tatum, which I'll get into that in a second. It just cracks me up. It just cracks me up. It tickles me, the reaction. Anyway, so the interior stuff, very business-like. Scal's asking questions. They're answering just like any other media member questions. The governor comes up and speaks. The mayor comes up and speaks. Blah, blah, blah. All well and good. Everybody go out and party. This is where it gets good. I head out into the wild to glimpse the parade from the parade route, to take my photos and videos and, get a feel for what the parade was from a fan's perspective. And first of all, just mobs of people, more than 1 million people. It was super hot. So hopefully I saw like a few people were treated for heat exposure or dehydration, stuff like that. So I hope those people are okay. But just a fun time. There were There were no speeches at the end. That would have been nice. But the Celtics don't do that. If you're, depending on where you were, you got your view of everybody rolling by, and then once they rolled by, it was done. So it's like, okay, yay. Oh, okay, I guess we're done here. And that's what a parade is. You stand stationary, they roll by, and it's over. But the view from the boats, and when you see the videos, just video after video after video, Porzingis with his arms raised, Tatum just losing his mind, Jaylen losing his mind, and losing a ring, by the way, which if you find Jaylen Brown's ring, he's offering a reward. It's on his Instagram and Twitter page. So that moment, the moment, or I should say the collection of moments from the parade, this is what makes a player fall in love with the city. What you saw in Jayson Tatum's eyes, what you saw in Jaylen Brown's eyes, that's what, when you hear somebody say, I'm a Celtic for life, it's not just because you put the jersey on, and it's not just because you won a championship. That parade, when you see the pure, unadulterated joy, you're watching a guy fall in love with the city. You're watching Jayson Tatum look at a million people just staring from his duck boat. Each way you look down each street, 50, 75 people deep, 100 people deep, everybody cheering. And you can see wide-eyed, smiling like we've never seen him smile before, raising that trophy up, patting himself on the chest, saying, no, I love you. That's the moment. That's the imprint of that emotion, the endorphins kicking in, that unforgettable connection between a player and the city. That moment where Jaylen Brown is looking at everybody and flexing and making the heart sign and seeing all of those people cheer for him and chant MVP, MVP. That's where you imprint the city of Boston on a player's heart. That's the hit. That's the addiction. Yeah, when you make a shot, you make a game winner and everybody explodes. That's a great moment, right? Win the championship, confetti comes down. It's a great moment. The parade is it. The parade is the hook in the fish's mouth. The parade is where a player looks around and goes, wow, I cannot believe what I'm seeing. I cannot believe what I'm feeling. All of these people love me, love what I did. You only get about 20,000 people, 19,000 and change in each game. You don't get 1 million people like you do at a parade. You look around at a parade and everybody losing their minds. This is where somebody like Tatum and Brown look and feel and remember forever. They could be 95 years old and barely able to remember anything, but they will, I promise you, they will remember that feeling, that moment. It is that powerful. You can see it in their faces. You can see it in their eyes. Celtics for life. Now, I understand the business of basketball makes that virtually impossible. Paul Pierce wasn't a Celtic for life necessarily, but he is a Celtic for life, right? You know that. At his home on the basketball court, he's got a Celtics logo down there. When Jayson Tatum is 50 years old and he's got a home somewhere, wherever, back in St. Louis, he's going to have a Celtics logo in the middle of that floor. He grew up a Lakers fan. So did Paul Pierce. But he's going to have Celtic stuff all over his home for the rest of his life. He is a Celtic for life. That moment, those moments in the parades are what makes these guys Celtics for life. No matter where business takes them, somewhere down the road, no matter where they finish their careers, if it's not Boston, you better believe that when it's over, you're going to see those guys on the sidelines at Celtics games. They will come back and be the legends that give back to that next generation. Whenever that group 30 years from now is trying to win a championship. When I'm in my 80s and I'm probably just sitting at home, very much retired, I'm going to be watching Tatum and Brown on the sidelines at Celtics games because they're Celtics forever and ever and ever. The parade seals that. The parade delivers them forever and ever and ever. You are now part of the machine. You are legends. You're going to be legends forever. You can see it in their eyes. Amazing. Let's get to some of the other parade stuff. Joe Mazzulla, superstar. Derrick White, underrated star as usual. All that stuff. And Al Horford and Tatum's Miami comments. All coming up next. Today's show is brought to you by eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships, just like Boston did, is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car Jaylen Brown, the MVP, and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit is only available to U.S. customers. Thanks for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Go check out Locked On Sports Today, streaming 24/7 on YouTube and on the Amazon Fire free TV channels app. So go check it out. The big shows, the big talk, all the big stories all over the sports world without the fake yelling at one another, without the fakeness. So make sure you check that out. Let's get back to this parade because there's a lot of stuff that came in, into play in the parade. Tatum's, like I said, Tatum's face, Tatum having Deuce there, Tatum spraying the champagne, going nuts. Like that sticks out to me. Jaylen's face, just the pure joy for two guys that always try to control their emotions with the media and on TV. This was great to see. I was struck by how Drew Holiday kind of laid low. Everyone else was up above, and Holiday was just kind of like on that lower level, but he was signing a ton of autographs. As he rolled by my spot on Boylston Street, I saw him just catch, sign, and flip it back. Catch, sign, flip it back. He even caught somebody's phone. Somebody threw him the phone. He caught it, turned it around, did like with his tongue out, and then flipped it back. That is an amazing memory to have. Luke Cornett doing all of his crazy celebrations with the bird flying thing and all this other stuff. That was all great moments. Amazing to see Mike Gorman get that moment, having a beer, having some champagne. Those are great. All right. Al Horford with the cowboy hat. He said, oh, the cowboy hat. Yeah, I like Yellowstone. No. I don't buy that for 1 second. I don't buy that for 1 second. That is a trophy. You can't tell me that Al Horford wearing the cowboy hat after just beating Dallas isn't like some hunter with a trophy buck's head up on the wall. That is exactly what that was with the cowboy hat. That was a trophy. You can't tell me otherwise, because Al Horford with the drunk Tom Brady shirt, he is very well aware of statements that are being made. He is very well aware of everything that's going on and what he's doing. So you can't tell me that thing was anything other than a trophy taken from the heads of people in Dallas. More on Al Horford in a few minutes. Derrick White was, let me tell you something, low-key, underrated star of the show for me, because I saw him, first of all, looking around. All the signs were about his teeth. He got new teeth or fixed teeth, so that was good. And he's just sitting there sipping Sincaro. Look, Wick Grossbeck and his wife and a bunch of other people in the basketball world, I think Jeannie Buss and Michael Jordan, a few other people, have this tequila brand, which is, I'm not being paid to say this. I'm just saying it. I've had it. It's not bad. It's a high-end tequila, a little too smooth. These guys had full bottles of that stuff on the parade. Look, they spend 8 months keeping themselves in amazing shape. It was hot out there. I'm sure their bodies were absorbing the alcohol quicker than maybe normal. And Derrick White with the bottle of Sincaro was, I knew it was coming. The video it's out there. Just search for Derrick White walking down and slapping five with people along a fence. Watch how unsteady he is. Clearly the Sincaro was hitting, which was amazing. But he kept it together. Shout out to Derrick White, keeping it together. Awesome. That low key, one of the stars of the show. The real star of the show, Joe Mazzulla. So he was on the Pardon My Take podcast, on the Low Post podcast. And just like Joe, pure Joe Mazzulla, he deflected the credit. And he is very keenly aware of what it means to take too much credit. People, when you win, everybody's gassing you up. And he's very, I guess, aware of when everybody's gassing you up, it's very easy to fall into the trap of, hey, maybe I am awesome. I think I am. Everybody says I'm awesome, so maybe I am. And it's a dangerous place to be. And it's very hard to stay humble. I don't know how I do it. Anyway, Joe is not going to let himself get into that trap. And so I have said publicly, privately, I hope Joe gets to actually enjoy this championship. Somehow find a way to let loose and let that emotion out. Well, the parade happened and he let that emotion out. Not only did he let that emotion out, his son dancing on top of a duck boat, just as much of a legend. But Joe jumping off the duck boat. Now, remember, he has a torn meniscus. I don't know if you heard me say that in another podcast, but he revealed that he has a torn meniscus because after losing to the Atlanta Hawks at the end of the regular season, he lost his mind. And I gotta make sure on this YouTube page, by the way, nope, there we go. I gotta make sure I use this championship belt graphic. I'm sorry, people listening on the audio, very scatterbrained there. I have a graphic, NBA belt champions. That's the Celtics also have that. Anyway, Joe, after the loss to, God, I got to get myself together. This champagne, by the way, is still corked, so it's not, I've not been drinking. After the loss to Atlanta, he says he's so worked up that he went to the mat and did jujitsu and just went until he just he beat the hell out of himself and tore his meniscus because he's a crazy person. And so he's had this torn meniscus ever since. And he's out there running around, jumping around like the torn meniscus. I ain't got no time for a torn meniscus. This is celebrating time. He's standing on top of the duck boat, screaming, flexing, let's go, jumping down, high-fiving everybody along the route, jumping back onto the duck boat, losing his mind. Loved it. He is so conscious of every little move that he makes, every little thing that he says. I am actually thrilled that he was able to let loose, probably let about 8 months worth of emotions loose on that crowd, and it was amazing to watch. He was great. So I had a lot of fun. I had more fun watching the videos than like at the parade because I'm sorry to say, like I'm not celebrating like everybody else at the parade, right? I just don't have that. I'm actually like working. I was actually working. I was like taking videos and taking notes and trying to see what people were saying and doing and how guys were acting and all of that stuff. So, which is, my job, but also like, I don't get to celebrate the way everybody else did, but watching the videos and seeing these guys, Porzingis with the championship belt. Speaking of belts, awesome. Loved it. I'm always down for a good championship belt. Those guys, great time. Had a lot of fun. Al Horford had a blast, and he's not going anywhere. Why he's not going anywhere, I'll talk about Oshae Brissett opting out, and I'm going to get to the Jayson Tatum comments as soon as I get back here because that I've been saving it. You can tell how excited I am. That's coming up next. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. I love sports. I love them so much, I never want them to stop. But playoffs are basically over, except for the Stanley Cup. We have fewer games, and all the sports aren't sportsing like I want them to. But FanDuel lets me keep the sports going whenever I want. All I have to do is open the app and dream up bets anytime I'm in the mood. And this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers, with a boost or bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every day, all summer long. Head on over to FanDuel.com/lockedon. FanDuel.com/lockedon and start making the most out of your summer. Use the tools that they have available to you. Set your budget, set your limits, and then go have fun. Gamble responsibly at FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Thanks for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Go check out Locked On NBA. I'm hosting on Wednesdays with Jake Madison, so check it out. Covering the whole league. Business is about to be done. Business is being done. We've had some trades. We've had some, coaching hires, all that stuff. All of that stuff is covered on Locked On NBA, so go subscribe wherever you got this podcast. So before the parade, Brian Scalabrine says to Jayson Tatum, hey, you guys went and partied in Miami. Must be nice after so many hard trips. Must be nice to have an easy trip after so many hard trips to Miami. And Tatum says, they're all easy. Ha! Great. Nice zinger. Fun. Little, talk your ish. And, whatever. That's throwaway line. Ha, ha, ha. No. Not in Miami, which is clearly the most sensitive fan base in the NBA. I cannot believe all of the reaction, especially from the Locked On Heat folks on Twitter who went ballistic. Oh, was it easy when you did this? Was it easy when Bam blocked you in the bubble? Was it easy when when Jimmy Butler miraculously missed? So you're celebrating the missed shot? You lost that. Anyway, the people in Miami Heat fans are out of their minds because Jayson Tatum said all the trips to Miami are easy. Like just talking a little trash. He's got the trophy and Miami Sports Talk Radio. I saw clips of that. You got to run down the whole resume of this. If we had this and if we had that and blah, 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 blah. When I was talking about Jayson Tatum spraining his ankle in Game 7, it was all, that's an excuse. But when it happens to your team, it's not an excuse. That's a reason when it happens to your team. That's the difference. When you're talking about your team, it's a difference. And then Udonis Haslem is on TV talking about how Miami is going to be the biggest challenger to Boston. And he says with a straight face, young superstar Tyler Hero, like the Heat aren't actively trying to trade him because the Celtics target him defensively over and over and over and over again. You're telling me you're banking your championship hopes on Tyler Hero? Oh, man. The reactions from Miami fans. This was not the time. This was not the place The Celtics have a championship. They were on their championship parade. And you're all like yelling and finger wagging, like, oh, if. Like, no, Jason's got the trophy. Jaylen's got a trophy. Like, this is the time to just be like, yeah, you can stew on it, bank it, bookmark it. If the Celtics go to Miami and lose, you can be like, oh, are they all easy? You can talk your mess then. But during a championship parade, you're going to try to talk trash after the champ threw one line your way? Come on. So sensitive in Miami. Really sensitive. I mean, I guess when the Jimmy Butler era came up completely empty and he might be traded. So the Jimmy Butler era, failure in Miami. I mean, how many championships did it yield? None. Couple of trips to the finals, but came up empty. If we're gonna judge like they judged the Celtics, came up empty. So failures, right? So the Jimmy Butler era might be coming to an end in Miami. So I understand. It's a sensitive time. It's a sensitive time over there. Al Horford is coming back. He said, I don't know where all of this talk of me not coming back was. I know where the talk came from. You just won a championship and people want you to go out on top. And that's a powerful kind of feeling. People want the story. Aging player, he's 38. People are like, 38 years old, you just won a championship. Come on, man, this is a great time. Go out on top. No, he's not going to. He could still go out on top, by the way. Celtics are going to be one of the favorites, if not the favorite, next season. You know, they're bringing everybody back 1 through 8. So, yeah, I think 1 through 8 is all coming back. So, yeah, of course he's going to come back. He's in great shape. He handled this season really, really well. He came out of it with no real injuries, no nothing. Like that was all great. So he's got 1 more year left on his deal. Al Horford never is going to turn away money. So he's sticking around. Not only that, look, if they win again next year or come close and he has the season that he had this year, why not come back the year after that? Maybe he'll have to be on a cheaper deal, and maybe that's going to be an interesting question about what he's willing to do and all of that. That's another story for another time. But not only did I never expect Al Horford to retire after this season, no matter what. I always expected Al Horford to come back. I actually would say it's more likely than not that Horford has another season. Like you go one year at a time. Like, hey, Al, how do you feel? You feel like coming back? Yeah. Maybe it's a veteran minimum deal. Maybe it's like, just a few $1 million to come back and come off the bench. And at that point, he'll be 40. So maybe his role is reduced. Maybe he's not the sixth man. Maybe he's a little bit more reduced. But I'm never going to tell a basketball player when he should quit. Never. Because that's not up to me. Now, some guys do hang on too long. And I can say I hope he quits. But I on a man-to-man level, I understand, trust me, the locker room, the stuff, not the game days, not even the practices, the locker room stuff, hanging around with the guys, the flights, the bus rides. That's the real crack. That's the stuff that keeps guys coming back for like another season. That's a different world. That's a different world of friendships and brotherhood that is so hard to understand if you've never played the game and never had that experience of traveling with people and having that bond. It's life-changing. So if Al Horford comes back next season, Al Horford is coming back next season. If he has a similar season to what he had this year, even if it's a little bit less, if he makes it through physically, regardless of whether they win or lose, I wouldn't be surprised if they go year to year. And if the Celtics say, hey, we would still love to have you around. Veteran minimum, do you want to come back and just be part of this team and contribute? And I think the ball would be in his court. And they could do that for another year. Who knows how much longer he's got. But he definitely has next year. I think he might have a year after that. So that can get him till 40 years old. And maybe 40 is like a milestone, like a goal. playing in the NBA till you're 40, very few people do that. Very few people do that effectively. Oshae Brissett is opting out. So this final bit of business before I wrap up. He is opting out. It doesn't necessarily mean he's gone, but it means that he's going to explore his options. And I would understand if he wants to go play more, find some place to play more. He's got his ring. He's got a championship. He's got that championship glow. Maybe a team that's looking for some of that Celtics magic can give him a little bit more than the minimum, because that's what the Celtics will give him. They can always bring him back on the minimum. They have non-bird rights, which can give him 120%, I think, raise. It's not that much of a raise, but it's more than the minimum. If they wanted to, they could. I don't think it's entirely necessary. But if it worked, and if he wants to come back on the minimum, sure. But if another team is like, hey, we want a little taste of that Celtics magic, we'll take Oshae Brissett. We'll give him a few extra, a little bit extra, maybe part of the biannual or whatever exception they want to give him, so he can come in and be like a little bit more of a mentor. And we do have playing time, but maybe one of these younger teams, I don't know, maybe the Houston Rockets. I'm just pulling stuff out of my head, but maybe the Portland Trailblazers, maybe one of these teams with young stars that need a little bit of that kind of guidance. And Brissett, who's a good dude, would be able to provide, like, hey, this is what I saw in Boston. These are the types of things that we did. This is the kind of locker room that we had. The stuff that you're doing is not working, or the stuff that you're doing is on pace, whatever. He can kind of share his knowledge, and that could be worth an extra $1 million or $2 million. So if he can make a little bit of money and play a few more minutes somewhere else, then I can see him making that jump. But he's going to explore his options, and I don't blame him one bit. A lot of these guys at the end of the bench, if you can cash in on some of that championship shine, do it. Absolutely do it. No one will begrudge you the searching around for a better situation. If you're one of those stay ready guys that didn't really play, you want to go play somewhere and you can cash in on some of that championship experience, go for it. Enjoy it. You'll get a rousing ovation when you come back to Boston. These guys, your teammates, will love you forever. You're going to be a champion forever. That's never going to be taken away from you. Go do what you got to do. So I understand that completely. We'll see what happens. It doesn't mean that he is gone. It doesn't mean that he's coming back. It doesn't mean either thing right now, but go explore your options. That's the show. I was going to do a mailbag today. I will do a mailbag tomorrow. So if you want to get a mailbag question in, it's johnkaralis.com/mailbag. johnkaralis.com/mailbag. I mean, I got a full mailbag. There's tons of questions there that I haven't gotten to a mailbag in like a month plus. So I have a lot of questions to get to. So I will be doing that tomorrow. So make sure, if you want to get a question in, do that. Also subscribe. Also go buy my book, Built Different. It's a commemorative book. Lots of pictures and words by me there. So Built Different. It's at triumphbooks.com/CelticsWin. triumphbooks.com/CelticsWin. Use the code Celtics24 for a 25% discount. So go do that. Go subscribe to the podcast. Whoa, there we go. Graphics all over the place. Subscribe to the YouTube page. Get into the comment section. Let me know what you're thinking there. And share the podcast. Tell your friends. Tell everybody they should be listening to and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day.